Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Craig Bowen, and I'm president of Friends of the Bottle Band, the support organization for the St. Luke's Bottle Band. And on behalf of the Bottle Band, I'd like to welcome you all to this afternoon's performance, which is one of 6 that the Bottle Band is giving, 3 last weekend and 3 this weekend, in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the founding of the Bottle Band. Thank you. This afternoon we'll be looking back in time over the past 30 years for the highlights and the history of the St. Luke's Bottle Band, and also looking forward in time to the year 2016 when Chicago, there's a possibility that Chicago will be the host city for the Summer Olympics. And speaking of time, I think I've killed enough time now that the Bottle Band is lined up and ready to go. So if you would, please give a rousing welcome to the older but still energetic St. Luke's Bottle Band.
Thank you very much. Good evening, or good afternoon, I should say, everyone. Welcome to our 2009 St. Luke's Bottle Band concert. My name is Paul Phillips. I'm the founder and conductor of the St. Luke's Bottle Band. On behalf of all the members of the group, I want to thank you for being here this afternoon. We have a very festive show. As Craig mentioned, we're celebrating the fact that we've been in existence for 30 years now. And also we're looking ahead to 2016. There's a possibility that the Olympics will be here in Chicago. So I know that there are many of you here tonight who, or this afternoon I should say, who have been to Bottle Band concerts before. But I'd like to find out how many of you are here today for the first time at a Bottle Band concert. Could you raise your hand, please? Oh, good. Quite a number of people. That's great. We're always delighted when we can expand the musical horizons of a large percentage of our audience, so it looks like we'll be able to do that today. For those of you that have been at Bottle Band concerts before, you might be wondering where Betty Sulu Fleming is, our principal kazooist and vocalist. Betty Sulu will be arriving shortly. She's had a very busy month. First of all, about 6 weeks ago, Mayor Daley asked her if she would be willing to go on an international goodwill tour to promote the image of Chicago throughout the world and increase the chances that Chicago would be named as the host city for the Olympics. So she did that, and she got back about 3 days ago, and we have just a few slides to show of her tour. So if you'll direct your attention up here to the screen, this is Betty Sue Lu's international tour. She started out in Chicago, of course. Buckingham Fountain. Stopped in Thailand. London, the site of the 2012 games. She is getting a blessing from the Pope. Finally celebrating with an African village. So, Betty Sue Lu got back about 3 days ago, as I said, and today, in order to publicize our concert this afternoon, she has taken her Olympic torch and she's been running all the way across the city of Park Ridge. She began on the south end of town, and I understand she's just about here. She'll be coming up through the back door in just a minute. To make the entrance a little more dramatic, we have given her a helmet with a camera on her head so that you can follow her last steps up the back of the church here. So I think, do we have a signal yet, John? She should be.
Come on, Betty Sue, let's go!
I can't. I'm tired. I've got a boo-boo knee.
Here you go, Betty Sue. Here's a crutch for you. Come on, there's a huge audience waiting for you upstairs.
An audience? Oh, my.
All right, here she comes up the back hallway. Okay, she's coming up the back steps. Please give her a warm welcome when she comes to the door. Can we have a drum roll, please? Here she is coming up. Betty Sue Lu Fleming. There she is. Thank you, thank you. 30 years ago, that would have been a snap for her, but not today. So, anyway, as you can imagine, the Bottle Band is very excited about the possibility of performing at the Olympic Games in 2016. We're hoping that we would be invited to be part of the opening festivities. You might think that's a kind of remote possibility, but I would like to point out that Hillary Rodham Clinton, our Secretary of State, is from Park Ridge. In fact, she grew up just about 5 blocks from this church. She and I went to high school together. And certainly a woman of her international stature, who's from the area here, would be a part of any ceremonies that were held in Chicago. So we're hoping that she would use her influence to perhaps find a place for us in the opening ceremonies. And so what we'd like you to do now is just imagine it's the year 2016. Chicago has been awarded the Summer Olympic Games. It's opening night. The opening ceremonies are beginning. And Hillary Rodham Clinton has been invited to sing. And she has asked the St. Luke's Bottle Band to accompany her. So please welcome our Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton. You may recall that if you're watching the 2008 games in Beijing, China, last year, at the opening ceremonies, they had a little Chinese girl on stage singing, and it was very lovely. But then we all learned a few days later that actually she was not singing at all, that she was lip syncing. And what had happened is the Chinese authorities had decided at the last minute that the first girl they picked was not cute enough. And so they replaced her with someone else. But it turned out she couldn't sing as well as the first little girl, so they had the first one make a recording, and the second one lip-synced to the first girl's recording. Well, our situation with Hillary would be sort of the reverse of that. We would want people to see Hillary's face, but I'm told that her voice is really not very good. So what we would probably do is have Betty Sue Lou make a recording, and then Hillary would lip-sync to that. Now, we're going to do a piece that we would play at the opening ceremonies, and for tonight's performance, we thought, well, you might as well hear Betty Sue Lou and see her as well, too. So again, imagine that this is the opening night of the Olympic Games here in Chicago, 2016. This is Betty Sue Lou Clinton, or Hillary Rodham Fleming, however you want to look at it, singing The Possible Dream.
I once had a possible dream which made me become confident. Chicago would host the Olympics and I would become president. Well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad. Some thought neither one would work out, but they did not know Mayor Daley had so much political clout. He was the one who guided our quest. He gave us the courage when we were depressed. We worked long and hard for our goal to be reached, and we did it in spite of a governor who was impeached. And my dream to become president, it will just have to wait. And for now, I'll continue to be Secretary of State. And to all of the athletes I say, best of luck in your efforts to win. And now, on this day in Chicago, it's time for the games to begin.
It could happen, you know. As Barack Obama would say, yes, we can. So we're going to hope that there's a chance for us to be a part of that ceremony if it occurs. There's not a lot of music written specifically for the bottle. In fact, there's actually none that I know of. So we have to play what are called transcriptions. Transcription is a piece of music that was written for one instrument or group of instruments, and then we rearrange it for another instrument or group of instruments. And the piece we're going to play for you now was originally written for a marching band, and it was written by probably the most famous of all march composers, John Philip Sousa. Sousa wrote, we've played many marches that Sousa wrote, including his most famous one, The Stars and Stripes Forever. This one is called the Liberty Bell March, and he wrote it to commemorate the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And when he wrote it, he decided he would put in the score actually a part for a bell to be rung when the piece was played. Now, when you hear a marching band play it, they often use chimes or something else that sounds sort of like a bell, but we're going to actually have a real bell tonight for our performance. And we have with us tonight as our bell soloist, a person who we refer to around here as the bell ringer of St. Luke's. So please welcome him now, Mr. Bert Quasimodo Olson. Bert's been ringing the bells here for so many years that he is virtually deaf, and so I have to give him very big cues because he really can't hear anything that's going on around him. So he will be our bell soloist, and then the other two soloists, please welcome now our principal violinist and concertmaster, Miss Trudy Yehudi. And then on the kazoo, please welcome once again, Miss Betty Sulu Fleming. Some of you may not know this piece by its title, The Liberty Bell, but you may recognize it when you hear it. This piece was the theme song, or the opening song, used in Monty Python's Flying Circus, which was a popular show back in the 1970s. So here is our bottle band arrangement of the Liberty Bell March. Thank you. For those of you who are not familiar with Monty Python and you're wondering what in the world the giant foot was all about, at the opening of their television show they had an animated sequence, and after about 30 seconds of very interesting, unusual faces floating around, a giant foot comes down and the music abruptly stops and there's a splat noise. So that's why we have that in here. We thought if we're going to do the piece we had to pay homage to Monty Python, who many of us grew up watching back in the 70s. So that's why the foot was there. The Liberty Bell was a fairly complicated piece compared to the ones we played originally when we started 30 years ago. When we began, the bottle players all only had 3 bottles, and we used about 3 or 4 chords in each piece. They were very simple. So we thought we'd go back into the archives and dig out one of the pieces we did very early on. And this is a piece written by Robert Schumann called The Merry Farmer. It was originally written for the piano, and we arranged it for the bottles. What people don't know, though, is that Schumann wrote not only one piece, but 3, which actually make up a suite called the Farmer Suite. The first one is the Merry Farmer, which everybody knows, but then there's also the Angry Farmer and the Silly Farmer. So we're going to do all 3 of them for you right now. I know many of you, when you attend classical music concerts, you know you're not supposed to applaud between movements of a suite. But this afternoon we're going to waive that rule, so please applaud after each movement. The Merry Farmer, the Angry Farmer, and the Silly Farmer. Thank you. Thank you very much. People who come to our bottle band concerts are often curious about what kind of bottles we use in the band, so I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to talk about our bottles. We use 2 basic kinds of bottles. The higher notes are played on the standard 12-ounce brown beer bottles that you see in the front row here. After we empty the bottles of their contents, We then glue them together in sets of 5 and fill them with different amounts of water to get the pitches that we need. The official bottle of the bottle band, by the way, is the Leinenkugels from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. We find that the Leinenkugels gives us the best tone quality out of all the hundreds of brands that we have sampled. Then the lower notes are played on the 1.5 liter green Sangria wine bottles you see in the back row there. Some people refer to these as jugs, but we like to stay away from that term if possible. Now you may find this hard to believe, but bottles do wear out after you play them for a while, very much like the reed on a clarinet or an oboe. So we find that we do have to replace our bottles at fairly regular intervals. In fact, I would say that well over 50% of our rehearsal time is devoted to the preparation of new instruments. Now, we also have several people in the band who like to hit the bottle. And of course, I mean that literally. They hit the bottle with mallets. And the instrument we use for this purpose we call the bottle-phone. It's the instrument there on the middle row of tables. It sounds something like a xylophone, and it looks something like a bar. And it's played just like handbells. Each person has a certain number of bottles to hit at just the right time to get the desired melody. So that this piece will feature the bottle-phone. And then the third way we make music on bottles is by plucking them, putting our fingers in and snapping them out, just like they're doing now. The bottles we use for the plucker section are green, as you can see. Those are all Beck's beer bottles from Germany. We find that the European bottles have a slightly smaller bore at the top, so that it's ideal for plucking. So the plucker section uses the Beck's beer bottles. So this next piece is an interesting one. It's actually a hymn that you can find in the Lutheran Book of Worship. It's called Let All Things Now Living. It's a wonderful little charming melody that comes from a Welsh folk song, I believe. And I decided to make an arrangement of it for the bottle band. So this is what we call a piece of pure bottle band music. By that I mean bottles are the only instruments used in this piece. There are no kazoos, no violins, just the bottles. The bottle-phone, the blowers, and the pluckers. So here is our arrangement of Let All Things Now Living. Thank you very much. Thank you. While we're getting ready for this next piece, if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to take a little survey of our audience so that we can get some information about how to perhaps market further concerts that we do. So if you wouldn't mind just raising your hand here as I ask these questions. I've already asked how many of you are here for the first time tonight. How many of you are here at a Bottle Band concert for the second time? Can you just raise your hand? Okay, a few back there. All right, thank you. How many of you have been to 3 or more Bottle Band concerts? Oh, that's good, quite a few. Very good. How many of you are here tonight because a friend invited you to come along? Some over there, okay. How many of you are here this afternoon because a friend forced you to come along? Good, well thank you to those people who forced their friends to come, we appreciate that. How many of you drove at least 10 miles to get here tonight? This afternoon, I should say, quite a few, okay. How many of you drove at least 25 miles to get here today? All right, good. Is there anybody here today who is from out of state? Oh, right here in the front row. Where are you from? Wisconsin. Wisconsin, oh, yeah. Chippewa Falls territory. Somebody over there? Arizona. Wow. And Montana? Wow. Washington, we're going farther west. Washington State. Colorado. Oh, great. What, Las Vegas, Nevada? Okay. Massachusetts. Wow. Did you come here just to hear us? You did? Wow. I'm sure we wouldn't go to Massachusetts to hear you. Well, that's because we've got 25 people. You know, it's harder for us to travel. Did I miss anybody else in the back? That's how many was that? 6 or 7? I'm sorry, what? Indiana. Okay, great. That's amazing. Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you coming. These last 3 questions are a little more personal, so just be as honest as you can. How many of you consider yourselves to be musically inclined? You like music, you go to concerts, all right, some there. How many of you consider yourselves to be musically advanced? You play an instrument, sing in a choir, okay, over there. How many of you consider yourselves to be musically challenged? Yes, I know about them. Great, well thank you. I'd like to do one thing today since it's a special day. This is Mother's Day and we're glad you've chosen to spend your time here with us. So could I just ask all of the mothers to stand up and take a bow here? I won't ask how many of you are here because you received a ticket as a Mother's Day present. You were probably the ones forced to come here. Well, our next piece is a very exciting one for me because we have a very special guest soloist for this piece. She performed with us 10 years ago, back in 1999, when we did our Turn of the Millennium concert. She's actually a descendant of the great Bach family in Germany. All the great composers, you know, J.S. Bach, C.P.E. Bach. Her name is Yolanda Christina Katharina Bach, or Y2K Bach as we refer to her. And so please welcome her now, all the way from Germany, Yolanda Christina Katharina Bach. Yolanda is the principal oboist with the Gesundheit Philharmonic in Hamburg, Germany, and she and I are going to play a duet. She'll be playing the oboe, I'll be playing the trombone. I know that obviously Johann Sebastian Bach lived well before baseball was invented, but I'd like to think that if he had known about the game, he would have liked it. And so I've written a little piece to commemorate my love of Bach and baseball. And the title of it is Baseball, Joy of Fans Desiring. Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm sure all of you remember the wonderful singing trio called the Three Tenors. They, of course, are not singing anymore, and we wanted to have a group similar to that for our concert tonight, so we have put together a new trio, which we are calling the Three Sopranos. I'd like to introduce them to you now. First of all, please welcome our first soprano, who, as you might expect, would be our very own Betty Sue Lou Fleming from the Bottle Band. First soprano, Betty Sue Lou Fleming. Our second soprano is an international opera star. She has appeared here at the Lyric Opera and at the Metropolitan Opera in New York. She is well known throughout the world. Her last name, coincidentally, happens to also be Fleming, although it's spelled differently than Betty Sue Lou. Please welcome opera star Renee Fleming. Renee's been experimenting with some steroids, I think. She's a lot taller than I remember her being. Our third soprano was supposed to have been Susan Boyle. The person who appeared on British television a few weeks ago and has become a sensation throughout the world. I had made arrangements with her to be here, everything was all set, and then just earlier this week, her agent called and said, you know what, her fee has just tripled. So she's in such demand that we just could not afford to bring her here tonight. So at the last minute, we had to search around to find another soprano, and it was not easy. But we did the best we could. So please welcome our third soprano, television star, Tony Soprano. The piece that they're going to do is the popular Italian street song Funiculi Funicula. And Tony, did you know that's illegal in Illinois now?
So what?
Well, would you please just hold off for a while, okay? At least till after we sing. We're going to do a piece, as I said, called Funiculi Funicula. And the three sopranos will be singing with the bottle band. Are you all ready to go? All right, here we go. The St. Luke's Bottle Band, the three sopranos, Funiculi. I was going to say they've written their own lyrics for this piece. So, just so you know. All right, here we go. Funiculi Funicula.
Soprano, my voice is not really so hot.
We are a trio called the Three Sopranos, and yes, we are a bit bizarre. I'm in a band. I sing in a band.
I'm a gangster, but please understand, although it's true,
May not be
at all the light
Yeah,
we agree. We just love to sing, there's nothing else we'd rather do. We are the Three Sopranos, and we're here to sing for you. Renee is what you call a prima donna. She's very vain and quite a pain.
And Betty Sue is totally obnoxious. She can be crude and very rude. But Tony is the worst. He's such a tyrant. He gets his way, or else you pay. You see, we really do not like each other. We think he's nuts.
I hate the guts.
We love pointing out each other's flaws. But on stage we get along because, although it's true, we may not be
At all alike, yet we agree. We just love to sing, there's nothing else we'd rather do. We are the Three Sopranos, and we're here to sing for you.
In operas I often sing Italian, the language of romantic love. And when I write the lyrics for a new song, I always choose nice words to use.
Most people find the words I use offensive, but I still say them anyway.
He has a very bad vocabulary. I've never heard such awful words.
Bleep,
This,
bleep,
that's all he can say. I hear
bleep, bleep.
every single day.
Okay, I know I like to swear, but when I sing I wouldn't dare. 'Cause we're the Three Sopranos, and we hope you understand how much we love to be here singing with the bottle band.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, undoubtedly the biggest highlight of our 30-year history in the Bottle Band was our first appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman in 1996. And what we're going to do for you now is show you a clip of that performance. And just to let you know how we got on that show, we did a local TV show called Wild Chicago. Some of you remember that. The host would go around and find interesting and unusual things in the city of Chicago or the surrounding area, and they did a feature on us. And the producer from that show sent the tape to the Letterman people and said, you ought to check this out. And they were very interested. What caught their eye, though, was the fact that my mother, Doris Phillips, who was in the band at the time and who was 80 years old, was playing on beer bottles, and they thought that was really a hoot, that this 80-year-old lady was blowing on beer bottles. So that's kind of why we got out there. And the original intention on the show was that Letterman was going to interview my mother before we played. And what happened is that those shows are always kind of indeterminate as far as length goes, and the earlier guests went too long. And so when we got out there, the producer said, no interview, just play. So she was not able to be interviewed, and they didn't even have time to give Letterman a new intro. So what he says, you'll hear him say, please welcome the St. Luke's Bottle Band and its co-founder, Doris Phillips. And at that point, he was supposed to go and talk to her, but he didn't, so you wonder, well, who the world is Doris Phillips? What had happened is I told the producers that the first rehearsal was at the home of my mother around her dining room table, and from that bit of information, they made her the co-founder of the Bottle Band. No mention of the other co-founder. But that's just the way it goes. So anyway, we're going to show you the clip, and we're also going to show you a few of the segments prior to our playing. Letterman talked about us for a number of times before we actually went out on stage, so we've got a couple of them to show you. So we take you now to December 23rd, 1996. It was 2 days before Christmas, so we played a little medley of Deck the Halls and Jingle Bells. So here we go with The Late Show and David Letterman.
From New York, no more eggnog for me, Grandma. It's The Late Show with David Letterman. Tonight, John Travolta. From ER, Juliana Margulies. And the St. Luke's Bottle Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the program tonight, star of the soon-to-be-released blockbuster motion picture, John Travolta is making an appearance. Juliana Margulies from ER, and all the way from a town in Illinois, as a very special holiday treat we have for you tonight. I'll be honest, I've never witnessed a performance of a bottle band anywhere, but tonight, right here on the stage of the Ed Sullivan Theater, all the way from Illinois, land of Lincoln, we have for your holiday enjoyment the St. Luke's Bottle Band. John Travolta is on the program, Juliana Margulies, but the real reason to stay tuned tonight, all the way from Illinois, we have the St. Luke's Bottle Band. Do you have any idea what a bottle band is, Paul?
I do have an idea.
What is it, Paul?
I think they probably play glass bottles.
In what manner? In what fashion?
Pitch,
Yes.
maybe by blowing on them or
right.
hitting on them.
Blowing and hitting.
And I'm willing to bet.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's not all.
Yes.
Yes, they blow on the bottles.
Yeah.
Yes, they strike the bottles.
Yes.
Is that all? No. That's not all. There's another manner in which they produce music with the bottles. The St. Luke's Bottle Band. Over like 4,000 bottles, I'm told.
What is the other?
What, how many? 120. 120 bottles. 120 bottles. Right here performing as a special. And this wasn't in TV Guide, by the way. We're doing this because we love you. This is an extra holiday treat. The St. Luke's Bottle Band, all the way from a town in Illinois, the name of which we don't know at this point. Okey-dokey. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're like me, it's just not the holiday season until you've heard a stirring Christmas medley performed by a bottle band. Well, tonight is the night. Do me a favor, please welcome the St. Luke's Bottle Band and its co-founder, Doris Phillips. Nice job, Doris. Merry Christmas. The St. Luke's Bottle Band, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you here. Merry Christmas. We'll be right back.
They taped that show at 5:30 in the afternoon in New York, and right after it was done, we got on an airplane and flew back to Chicago, and we were actually back home at 11 o'clock in time to watch ourselves on TV that night. So it was kind of a surreal experience. Our next piece is a very special one because we have a very special group of soloists with us for this piece. This piece was written by the great German opera composer Richard Wagner. Wagner is known for writing very long operas, and one of the operas he wrote is called Die Meistersinger, which in English means the Master Singers. And the Master Singers were a group of a guild of singers in the 15th and 16th centuries. Very prestigious group to get into, very talented people, and that's what the opera's about. We've changed the title slightly for our performance this afternoon, and our version is called Die Meister Plucker, because we have with us a very special group of pluckers from Germany. They're a guild, just like the Master Singers. They are the Master Pluckers. So please welcome them now from Germany, Die Meister Plucker, the Master Pluckers. This is the largest group of pluckers we've ever had on this stage, and it's been quite an honor to work with them. As I said, we're going to do the overture from Die Meister Singer. Actually, we can only do about 3 or 4 minutes of the overture. Bottle band pieces can't be real long, otherwise the blowers tend to hyperventilate and pass out. So we're going to do just the main theme of the overture. But this is a piece that we've adapted, and as I said, we're calling it Die Meister Plucker. It'll feature the bottle-o-phone, our percussion section. So, gentlemen, are you ready? Yeah, okay. Here we go. Richard Wagner's overture to Die Meister Singer, Die Meister Plucker. Thank you. Let's have another big hand for the Master Tuckers. Thank you. Well, all successful musical organizations have to have a support group behind them, and we have a group here at the church. As you know, you've already met the friend of the bottle band, Craig Moen. We call him the friend because actually after 30 years there's still only one member of the group, so instead of friends and bottle band, it's the friend. And please welcome him once again to talk to you about a special offer he's going to be making. So, Craig Moen, friend of the bottle band.
One of the advantages of being the only friend of the bottle band is that I've been able to remain president of the group for the past 30 years, as well as vice president, secretary, and but I think it's time for a change in the administration, and I am confident that the sensational new premium that I'm about to offer to new members of Friends of the Bottle Band will swell the ranks of our organization. Most of you have heard of the Chia Pet, and many of you have heard of the Chia Obama. I am extremely pleased this afternoon to announce the latest addition to this unique line of products, the Chia Paul. Imagine the reaction of your family and friends when they see a Chia Paul growing in your home. And what a handsome addition to your desk at work. Watch with fascination as you water your Chia Paul and he begins to grow. In just a few weeks, your Chia Paul will resemble a hippie from the 1970s. And the Chia Paul makes a wonderful gift. Today is Mother's Day. Did you get your mom a present? But remember, you cannot purchase a Chia Paul in stores or online. Chia Paul is only available by becoming a friend of the Bottle Band. So don't delay. Join Friends of the Bottle Band and get your Chia Paul. Thank you. We also have a contest for you this afternoon. This bottle is filled with pieces of candy, and your job is to guess the number of pieces of candy in the bottle. Now, in a few minutes, we'll be breaking for intermission, and downstairs in Fox Hall, there will be refreshments available for you. And I'll also be down there with the bottle so that you can inspect it more thoroughly. And I'll also have ballots that you can fill out your guess on. During the second half of this afternoon's performance, I will announce the winners. And in keeping with our Olympic theme, we'll have gold, silver, and bronze medalists, or bottleists, as we'll call them. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. For the intermission, when you go downstairs to Fox Hall, you may use either exit in the front or the back of the gym to get down there. There will be refreshments served down there, provided by the youth of our church. There's no charge for them, but they do have some baskets out if you'd like to make a contribution. All the money raised from the sale from the donations, I should say, for refreshments will go towards what we call our Beyond Our Walls program here at St. Luke's. That simply means organizations that are outside of our church that we support through monetary gifts. So anything you can contribute will be greatly appreciated. When you go downstairs also, you should have a little insert in your program which has a place for a mailing list sign up. If you're not already on our list, or even if you are and received something in the mail, we'd like to get email addresses as well. So if you want to fill that out and drop it off in the box downstairs, that would be appreciated. And you'll notice in our program there's a little paragraph about an upcoming performance we're having in October of this year. October 24th, we're going to be playing at Lutheran General Hospital to benefit the Center of Concern here in Chicago, which is an organization that we support. So there's information about that organization and the concert as well downstairs. So please have a nice relaxing intermission. We have some rehearsing to do for the second act, so you don't need to hurry back. And we come now to the last piece on the first half of our program. You may remember a group from a few years ago, a very popular singing group called the Village People. They were famous for wearing kind of unusual costumes. Well, we have a group here this afternoon that is similar to that group, except of course they're from Chicago, in celebration of the possibility that Chicago will have the Olympics. So please welcome the Chicago People. The Village People were probably most well known for their song YMCA, which you often hear played at a wedding reception. It's a very energetic song. Well, that's what the piece that they're going to do is YMCA, but we've changed the lyrics for it, and we're calling it 2016 in honor of the year 2016, hoping that that will be the year the Olympics will be here in Chicago. So here are the Chicago People, 2016.
For the Olympics here in 2016.
Thank you. Have a good intermission. See you in 15 minutes. Welcome back to the second half of our show. We're going to begin with another video clip. This was actually made about 12 years ago, I believe. It was made by a production company that produced pieces called An American Moment. And the producer would go around and visit various places across the country, and they would convert them into... Whoa! Competing with me here. And they would make little minute-and-a-half features that they would syndicate to various news stations, and they would use them for fillers in their news programs to kind of, have interesting things for the news shows. So we had a special concert right here in the gym for them, so they could come and use their cameras and walk on stage and stuff. And they put together a very nice little piece. And as I said, it's called An American Moment, and it's narrated by none other than James Earl Jones. So here is An American Moment.
There would be fury at such a sight before a performance of any other kind. Put those bottles down, the conductor would say. Here, however, the conductor, Paul Phillips, says, ladies and gentlemen, pick your bottles up. The bottles, after all, are his group's instruments. The St. Luke's Bottle Band of Park Ridge, Illinois, can coax an amazing variety of sounds out of its amazing variety of bottles. But the sound the band most reliably coaxes out is pleased laughter and very pleased applause. They make up a kind of human calliope, able to blow and bang and pop and bleat and sing anything, from opera to Christmas carols to the blues. In life otherwise, you would not say what I'm about to say as a compliment, but that is how it's meant. Congratulations, folks. You really blew it that time.
Thank you, thank you. Our next guests are again from another country. We've had them here before, several times actually, for our Olympic-themed shows. They are four ladies from Sweden, and most recently they appeared on the television program Swedish American Idol. Unfortunately, they didn't advance to the next round, but please welcome them now. They're here to be with us this afternoon. The four Daughters of Sweden. This is what is known as the living Swedish flag. And these lovely ladies are going to sing a song, a Swedish song called Hälsa dem där hemma. And they'll be singing it in Swedish, of course, and because I think probably most of you don't understand Swedish, we will provide a translation on the first chorus, kind of a loose translation, but that way you'll have some idea what the ladies are singing about. So here's our bottle band arrangement, the Four Daughters of Sweden, Hälsa dem där hemma.
Star jag har in sky.
Thank you, thank you. I'm very pleased to announce that once again the Bottle Band will be performing at Ravinia this year. The date is December 27th. So you might want to bring some extra blankets if you're sitting out on the lawn. Also, we want you to know that several members of the band teach privately in their homes if you'd like to start taking lessons on the bottle, or perhaps start one of your children out on the bottle. Playing the bottle, I should say. I know a lot of parents are reluctant to spend a great deal of money on a new trumpet or a violin, but for the cost of a six-pack, you can get your child started in music. We also have a Suzuki bottle band here at the church for the very young. They play on those little airline liquor bottles you get. And we also have something new this year. For the very young, we have this set of training bottles that we are distributing. So if you're interested in any of those possibilities, please speak to me after the show. Also, the bottle band is available to play for weddings. The advantage to hiring us is that we will take care of all your musical needs for the day. You won't have to hire a separate organist and a soloist and a band for the reception. We will do everything in one package deal. We have a great arrangement of trumpet voluntary for the processional, which we call of course, bottle voluntary. We know all the standard wedding reception pieces, Feelings, the Hokey Pokey, Hava Nagila. So, I'm just curious, anybody here today planning to get married in the near future? Anyone? No? Over here? No. Oh, somebody's saying yes and somebody's saying no. It's just a possibility, perhaps? So no date is set? No, okay, all right. Okay, well sometimes we have people in the audience who are planning to get married, but not today. Well, the next piece we're going to do for you came about because somebody told me after a performance that the bottle band reminded them of a music box. And I started to think about it, and yes, the sound of the bottle phone is kind of tinkly, and it sounds something like a music box. So I decided to exploit the similarity, and so I've made an arrangement of the Brahms Lullaby, which is a piece you often hear played on a music box. And so this is our bottle band music box arrangement of Brahms' Lullaby. We have one more video clip actually to show you at this point. This is our second appearance on the David Letterman Show. They invited us to come back 2 years later, and so we did. This time we appeared actually on the New Year's Eve show. So we were in Manhattan on New Year's Eve, which was quite an experience. And they asked us to do something festive, of course, since it was New Year's Eve. So we did two pieces. We started out with Auld Lang Syne, and then we concluded with the final section of the Tchaikovsky 1812 Overture, which, as you might know, calls for the use of cannons to be fired off. And we have our special bottle cannons that we use for our performances of the 1812 Overture. They're made out of 2-liter 7-Up bottles, and they fire out corks with compressed air. So we brought those along to New York, and here is our performance now on December the 31st, 1998, New Year's Eve.
If you're like me, the new year hasn't officially begun until you've heard a medley of stirring music performed by a bottle band. And we have one of the best with us here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome all the way from Park Ridge, Illinois, the St. Luke's Bottle Band. Folks, take it away. Everybody, lovely, beautiful, good to have you with us. Same to you. Happy New Year, folks. St. Luke's Bottle Band. We'll be right back.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun that night. Well, we come now to the final work on our program today. We thought we would like to do something special for our 30th anniversary, something that would talk about the way the bottle band began, the early history of the band. So what I did was I took music from the very popular Broadway musical Les Miserables, and we're going to be using selections from that musical and incorporating it into our version, which of course we call Les Bottlobs, or Les Bot for short. And I, of course, have written new lyrics which depict the beginnings of the bottle band. There are 7 characters in this story. One of them is a human, that would be me, and I will be portrayed by Adam Cartwright. The other 6 characters are all bottles, and so you will get a view of the bottle band from the perspective of a bottle in the bottle band. Craig Moen will narrate the story, so it will move along, and we will have Trudy Hootie on the violin. So we thank you for coming today. We've enjoyed having you here. We hope you've had a good time, and you'll be able to join us again sometime. And here is the concluding work on our program, Les Bottlobs.
This is the story of how the St. Luke's Bottle Band began. The place is Park Ridge, Illinois. The time is 1978.
to which we're entitled, we will soon be cast aside into a bin, and we'll all be recycled. At the end of the day, that's what happens to bottles. It's a terrible thing that we all have to face. When our contents are consumed, then we have to be very courageous, but we know that we are doomed. Unless somebody chooses to save us, that's unlikely to happen, but still, maybe somebody will.
Yes, there was someone who would save many bottles from the recycling bin. His name was Paul Phillips, and he was a member of St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Park Ridge. Paul got the idea to begin a band at St. Luke's, a band that would make music by using ordinary bottles as instruments. He gathered a group of friends together. They spent some time preparing instruments. They practiced, and finally they gave their first performance right here on this stage. The people at St. Luke's were astonished. During the coffee hour after church, people would come up to Paul and talk to him about the bottle band. They would ask him why he decided to start such an unusual organization here at the church. Paul would smile at them, take a sip of coffee, and this is what he would say.
You ask why? Why did a bottle band get started here? What made me choose this rather odd career? What inspiration made me seek a path so different and unique? You ask why? It happened when I had a dream one night. It really was a most peculiar sight. A bottle with a human head came walking up to me and said, "You must try." She told me I must try to find a way that bottles could be an abandoned play. She spoke with great sincerity, although she sounded nuts to me, and yet the more I thought it through, the more it started to make sense. And so I started saving instruments. My life had always been so bland, but now it suddenly was grand. That is why there's a bottle band.
The bottle band was an instant hit here at St. Luke's. The group was asked to perform again, and so Paul added more members, and he wrote more songs for them to play. A few months later, the bottle band put on another show here at the church, and soon they were invited to perform at events in other places. Mother-daughter banquets, supermarket openings, and 8th grade graduation parties. They rehearsed almost every Friday night, and the unique sound of bottles being played could frequently be heard echoing through the halls of St. Luke's Church.
Do you hear the bottles blow, blowing a song for you today? It is the music of an instrument that few decide to play. Will you join in our crusade, teaching the world to understand how to appreciate the sound of a bottle band? For the lower notes we use big bottles of sangria wine. For the higher notes the lining kugels do the job just fine. And then there's a blue nun whose tone we consider divine. Do you hear the bottles blow, blowing a song for you today? It is the music of an instrument that you decide to play. Will you join in our crusade, teaching the world to understand how to appreciate the sound of a bottle band? There is Moosehead, who we have to import from another land. There is Mrs. Butterworth, who adds such sweetness to the band. And then there's a Budweiser known for the Clydesdale so grand. Do you hear the bottles blowing a song for you today? It is the music of an instrument that you decide to play. Will you join in our crusade, teaching the world to understand how to appreciate the sound of a bottle band? A bottle band.
The fame of the bottle band continued to grow. Paul decided to call himself Professor Phillips to add more prestige to the band. He created the bottle-o-phone, and he developed the art of plucking. The band was now playing music by Bach and Mozart, as well as popular songs. As the band added more members, they also added more bottles. Bottles of many different shapes and colors. And all of these bottles were very happy to play in the band. They loved the opportunity to perform in front of an audience, and they now consider themselves to be musicians.
Welcome, my friends. How do you do? We're glad to see so many of you. Once we were all filled up to here with maple syrup, cheap wine and beer.
But as you can see, things have changed and we are now considered instruments known as the bottles in the band. That is who we are.
We are very lucky to have come this far. We have many friends who were thrown away. Fortunately, we all got a chance to play.
And it's all because of this man. He's the one who brought us here. We have him to thank for helping us begin a new career.
Bottles in the band, what a motley crew.
Everything from Bose to a nun who's blue.
Bottles that are brown,
Bottles that are green.
bottles with the cutest shape you've ever seen.
People love to hear our music. We're always in demand. Everybody loves to come and listen to the bottle band. No bottle is as cute as Bud. He really is a good-looking stud.
What do you know about the nun?
I hear that she can be lots of fun.
Moosehead is so big, and he's strong, of course.
I know his moose breath might knock me off my horse.
Bottles in the band, listen to us blow. We can play real loud or pianissimo.
Bottles that are big, bottles that are small, bottles that are short and bottles that are tall.
I just love it when we play both.
I love singing all the raw.
I like it the best when we are playing the beer bottle polka.
Boom, pop, pop, bottles that you blow, bottles that you pluck,
Bottles that produce a lovely tone when struck.
bottles that are square.
Bottles that are round. Bottles that can make a very holy sound. People love to hear our music. We are always in demand.
Things were going extremely well for Professor Phillips and the St. Luke's Bottle Band. They were asked to play for a wedding reception. They made their first appearances on Chicago radio and television stations. They were being invited to play somewhere almost every week. But suddenly, all of that changed. Since the band was now playing so often, Professor Phillips would frequently keep the bottles in the trunk of his car so he wouldn't have to carry them up here to the gym after every performance. But that proved to be an unwise decision. Tragedy was about to strike the St. Luke's Bottle Band.
On a cold December evening, stars were shining overhead. Now the band was done performing. Everyone was home in bed. All the bottles were in cases. They had played so beautifully. In the darkness of my car trunk, they were resting peacefully. But the temperature kept falling, and the water in the bottles started freezing and expanding, and soon the ice inside was pushing hard against the glass. The pressure kept increasing, and the bottles all began to break. No! Our next show would now be canceled. There's no way that we could play. Dreams and bottles both were shattered and must now be thrown away. Broken glass from broken bottles. There was nothing I could do. Broken glass from broken bottles. I was sure the band was through.
The future did not look good for the St. Luke's Bottle Band. Professor Phillips had to tell the group the sad news about the bottles. He told them the big show they were supposed to put on the following night would now have to be canceled. But the band members were more optimistic than Professor Phillips. He was astonished when they told him they would still be able to do the show. How is that possible, he asked them. Where are we going to get the instruments? They looked at him and smiled. We'll get them one bottle at a time.
One by one, the how the band got brand new instruments. It was a challenging experience. They stayed up working through the night. They emptied bottles left and right, one by one.
They were the first to be replaced, but no one had any idea
One by one.
how it would feel to empty out so many Lineys and Sangrias.
One by one they forged ahead.
Yes, they bravely forged ahead.
Next they started on the Blue Nile.
Next they emptied out the lungs.
When they finished they were drained.
All of them were very drained.
But no one ever complained.
One by one they polished off. One by one they polished off several cases of Budweiser. Cases that were full of Bud. They were tiring out of it. It was really quite a bit. But not one of them would quit. They knew they had a job to do.
One by one.
One by one they emptied whose head till they had enough to play. By this time they were exhausted, but they pressed on.
One by one.
When they got to me, they were almost dead. They could hardly pour the syrup out my head. When they finally did, it was such a grind. All the work, so one of them could blow my mind.
Now at last they had their bottle.
The bottles were in place,
Just enough to do a show.
just enough to do a show.
All the instruments were ready.
Everything was set to go. Do you hear the bottles blow?
The bottle man was back again.
One by one. One by
So many Lineys and
What they started 30 years before. And so they kept on doing what they started 30 years before. 30 years. How about 30 more?
Thank you. Thank you. Please sit down so we can do the encore. We're having a cast party. We want to get out of here as soon as we can. So thank you very much. You were a great audience, a great way to conclude our two-week run here. So thank you for coming. In fact, that's the title of our encore. Thanks for coming. So we hope to see you again sometime. And our encore, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming to see our show.
Time to tell ya we gotta go.
Grab your hat and head for the door. 'cause when the song is over, there ain't any more.